As many people continue to get their COVID-19 vaccine shots, some want to know what else it impacts. Bob Satterfield emailed the Verify team with this question.
After being fully vaccinated for COVID-19, does donating blood diminish the vaccine's effect?
With Verify, we tell you our sources first. We talked with Dr. John Wary from the Penn Institute of Immunology and Dr. Karen Rausch from the Methodist Health System's Department of Pathology. When you get your COVID-19 vaccine, your immune system responds by producing plasma cells, which act as huge factories that continuously make antibodies. You have about 5 liters of blood in your body. Let's use these 1-liter bottles to illustrate. When you donate blood, that only takes out 450 milliliters, or less than half of 1 bottle. This isn't enough to have any impact on the vaccine shot's effectiveness.
While you may lose some of the antibodies in your blood, a very small percentage, the important cells that are making those antibodies stay put.
And in some cases, a phenomenon called rebound can happen where your body actually makes more antibodies after you donate blood.
The body's very good about re-levelizing once something happens to it, and that's certainly the same case for blood donation.
So we can verify, donating blood does not impact the effectiveness of your COVID-19 vaccine shot.